My vision is cloudy now because I have some glasses on.
Is that what it is?
It is.
This
Right?
is the
You got
Grow
2020
Business Podcast
vision?
with Cory Mosley.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting as I progress in my years.
Uh-huh. Do you or do you not have 2020 vision? You have 2020 vision now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's impressive.
Thank you.
At your age, that's that's pretty phenomenal. Holy majoli.
Thank you.
Figured you'd be blind as a bat by now.
Somehow
You're getting it today.
Somehow I skipped that gene.
I've been giving you. You've been getting it all. Been getting it this afternoon.
Somehow I skipped.
Talking
that
about
gene.
head shapes, everything there.
That's right.
Yes. Well, hello. You
Welcome
know the
back.
sound of that mindless banter only means one thing. This is the Grow Business Podcast. He's starting out a little slow. 2025. He say, like, no, not really. Let's try it again. This is the Grow Business Podcast. I'm your host, Cory Mosley. And I am joined by the guy you figured would be here. He has not left. We keep asking him to come back.
Thank you.
LG 007 Lon Graham's in the house.
Voice of reason.
The man who can't keep his glasses on. You're definitely not going to make it the whole show.
No.
For those streaming us on YouTube or on cornrows.com or on Spotify, where we're top 10 last year, top 10 in video podcasts.
Yeah.
So because we understood this early.
Yeah.
Because they made a big announcement that they were going all in and wanted to put more emphasis on video as a way to stand out
Right.
and compete with YouTube.
Correct.
And we've been doing video since day one.
Yes.
So I think it maybe gave us a little leg up. So,
Yeah. Well, we have.
well,
this
before you get too
beautiful-
deep, I got to acknowledge somebody else is here in 2025. The man on the boards that was suspect. We'll see how it goes. We're only 2 minutes in, but none other than Willie H is back.
Hit the buttons, William.
That's right. He's got a whole host of new buttons
Yay.
that he's going to be pushing in 2025. He's furred his brow up at me because he doesn't know exactly what I'm talking about. He's got some new stuff, some stuff I had not heard before. So go ahead, complete your thought. Do you remember what we were talking about?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
the
Because you're going to be a year older now. Too. I'm getting them today, folks.
The reality of it is that you have this fabulous studio as part of your business, and a willingness to take advantage of it.
Yes.
Also benefited having the video version of the podcast on Spotify, and so credit to that, and to be able to show off the studio to potential clients.
Yeah,
as
I'm
well.
just we made it. We made it. We made it another year, folks.
about that?
It's 2025. We've got our glasses on here. We're a little late to the party. Obviously, it's it's a few days into the new year,
Right.
But nonetheless, we wanted to celebrate with our glasses. So. If you're used to just streaming us, you're going to have to pop over to the YouTube channel.
Exactly.
Or Spotify, where you can watch the video, or go to corymos.com and in our blog, we repost these shows.
Yeah.
And just give a shout out on our lovely accoutrement that we have on, and we'll see. If your thing falls off again, I'll let you off the hook. You don't have to wear it the whole show, but we're going to hope somebody get some duct tape in here so we can duct tape him down. Well, as always,
One other thing I'll say too is if they go to the video,
yes,
they can see this great ensemble that you're sporting.
it was Schnazzy Jacket Day.
That's right.
So
yeah, we went all in today.
Lon phoned it in on the tie, but that's okay. I had some more pertinent meetings than he had today, so we had to do that. But yeah, listen, a lot of exciting things. I mean, thankful to be. Thankful to have, I'd say, made it through 2024. 2024 was interesting.
Yes.
It was interesting for a lot of people. 2025 is going to get interesting for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
Whatever you're into, whether it's politics or just the overall attitude about all the things that are coming.
You're right.
Before the new year in December, I was at a very interesting event where we had a lot of experts, several who were AI experts, and one woman who actually flew in from Australia. The event was in South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
At a major corporation, and she flew in from Australia to drop some education on us. And
Oh, wow.
it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, I can't imagine. And what I find interesting is, if you look back at society,
Right.
and you look back at some of the old videos, because now you have videos from
Right.
forever ago now, right? you see people like making comments about things that you're like, what were you thinking at the time? Like I saw a video. It made the news the day that Burger King started taking credit cards.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That you can buy a burger with a credit card.
Right.
And they were asking people in the store. And like, I can't imagine not having $4 or $5 on me that I could come get a Whopper, that I need a credit card to do that.
Right.
Like you were listening to people and they were really like waxing poetic. Like, oh my God, who would ever Sacre Blue, who would ever pull out a credit card to buy a hamburger?
Right.
So I feel like all those things sound so ridiculous today.
Right.
When now, if you ask me right now if I had $5 cash on me, I'd look at you like you were crazy.
Right. Well, exactly.
Like, what do you mean? You don't take Apple Pay? You don't take, who doesn't accept debit, credit card? Who doesn't accept plastic?
Right.
Right. So,
well, the pandemic did, the pandemic with the transfer of disease and the concern about that, a lot of people went the other way and don't accept any cash.
Right. True.
So we've gone,
I know a few people who only accept cash or check. But that's probably between them and the IRS.
Well, right. There's reasons for that.
Shout out to my old pizzeria in Jersey. He wasn't. You get cash, or cash was king and king, queen, and all of them.
That's right.
So I'm only wondering what what receipts got reported and what didn't. But at any rate, well, I don't know. That's a true story, but I think it's amazing. So thankful for 2024. It's very interesting. A lot of new relationships, a lot of just different things going on. But it's no one. We can't go through life in our rearview mirror.
Right.
So, and I think a lot of people from that perspective, we got to move past what happened.
Right.
If something good happened, great.
Right.
It's still, what have you done for me lately?
Right.
If something bad happened, not great.
True.
But we're here. I mean, I think did I have a guest? Were you gallivanting somewhere and weren't here? I remember doing a show where I talked about this idea that, whatever happens, the thing is I won't die.
Right.
Like whatever's going on. Okay, you're okay.
That was us. We did that.
Okay, yeah, whatever's going on, like that's always just been my new thing.
Right.
Like things aren't going right, deal didn't go, just stress about this, stress about that. I didn't die. Like I'm not gonna die. So it might be uncomfortable, but like you can come out of the other side. So I think that's exciting. And we've got another great show.
Yes.
I think so. But I think it's good, thankful for everybody in we get that out, right? Thankful for everybody in 2024.
Right.
Bad stuff happened, good stuff happened.
Right.
People are still here. A lot to be thankful for.
And I think
welcome to 2025.
Well, I think the one thing that we can celebrate is, or one of the many things we can celebrate, but especially for the podcast, is all of the people that started listening to us and they continue to listen to us throughout 2024. And we'll look forward to hopefully them
75 countries streamed an episode, at least.
That's fantastic.
Of the podcast. How many countries are there?
145 maybe?
Are there? Willie H, fact check that.
140, 145, something.
Okay, so we got some work to do.
Yeah, we're progress.
Yeah.
We got a new year.
Czechoslovakia, I'm talking to you. Is Czechoslovakia, is that still a country? No. I mean, things have changed names.
Right,
so I'm
right.
like, things that used to be called one thing aren't anymore.
Correct.
What's the number, Willie H? 195. Okay. Well, if you would have bid 145 on Price is Right, you might have gotten close at the closest number.
I wouldn't have gone over.
Right. Yeah. You'd be on your way to a new washer and dryer right now. It's possible.
That's exactly right.
Well, okay. Well, Willie H is saying that 241 countries and territories are recognized.
Okay.
All right. So somewhere between okay. We got some work to do.
We got progress.
Yeah, the bottom line is just opportunity.
That's
right?
correct.
Somebody has sent us an email or comment or something and tell us there. LG's glasses have left the building, folks. They've left the building. Well, I'm committed, so I'm committed here.
Yeah.
So, we got some work to do, but fantastic. I mean, how interesting,
Thank you.
Is that? So here we are. Here I'm thinking it's just my mother. And your sister, because she comments.
Well, it started out that way.
Yeah.
And now we've come a long way.
How it is, how it was, how it started, how it's going. Right.
Exactly.
That's one of those moments.
Perfect.
So, well, we're thankful for you guys. All right, let's get into today's topic here.
Please.
And as always, position for growth still in stores, still doing well. I was just telling LG offline, we've got another 100 book commitment, bulk order. Yes. For a lovely organization I'll be speaking to in Vegas.
Congratulations.
Because you didn't ask me where. Vegas.
Right.
What's your feelings of Vegas?
I think Vegas is a 3-day place.
Yeah.
I think max 3 days.
Fair.
You know, it's
Yeah,
fun.
fair.
I enjoy
Yeah.
it. There's lots of
You
things
got best
you can do.
entertainment. You got, best food.
Amazing food, amazing entertainment, amazing hotels.
Yeah.
And even if you don't gamble, there's so much you can do.
That's right.
But the challenge with Vegas.
The Mob Hotel. Mob Museum. I went there.
Oh, wow. I haven't.
That's pretty interesting.
I bet that's really cool.
Yeah.
I bet that's really cool. The reality of it, though, is that Vegas is so much fun and there's so much energy that you expend
Right.
while you're there that by about day 3, regardless of what you're doing, you get tired.
Yeah. Are you a active vacationer or a leisure? I was watching something on TV and the guy said, his girlfriend, they're like, I'm taking her away. I'm taking her to Poconos.
Okay.
And she shows up with her bag and everything. It's a show.
Okay.
But he's like, she's like, oh boy, after my day, I've definitely been looking forward to this weekend. I've been looking forward to this, just laying down and hanging out and sitting in that hot tub and just having a good time. He said, oh yeah, we can do all of that after we do. And he rattles off like 4 or 5 things. So she breaks up with him.
She should.
Yeah. She's like, we have to talk, and you know what that means at the end of it. But it's like, she's like, I want to do nothing. My version, I don't want to be exhausted coming back from vacation.
Right.
And I think so, like this itinerary that you have to have. Are you an itinerary vacation person, or are you kind of a go with the flow? Maybe there's things you have to commit to because you got to get a ticket or whatever.
Right.
But
So I like a balance, right? There's things I like to do, and I also like to relax. So there's, maybe I'll go tour, like you said, you go see the Mob Museum if you go to Vegas, or you go see something that's specific to the area where you're vacationing, which is fun to do, but I also need to relax. I want to, if I'm at the beach, I want to watch the sun go down with a cold drink in my hand. I may take a long stroll down the beach with a sip and a smoke.
Right.
But
I'm hearing balance.
Right. Yeah. Balance is absolutely. Because if you go on vacation, we work hard.
Right.
Like we're busy and we do things and we don't get to take the deep breath that we should. And so when you go on vacation, it's nice to see things, expose yourself to new ideas and new opportunities.
Willie H, I want to give you a visual. LG 007. He's got the skinny shorts on, the skinny shorts on, strolling, not walking, strolling down the beach. Okay, with a scotch or a bourbon or a whiskey of some sort, and he's got a cigar. Yeah, Brownwood's got a cigar and the Tiva flip flops. Okay, he's got the ones with the toes going that they hurt. Okay. And LG's floating down there, shirt open. Bingo! I like that. Oh, it's good. He's got the shirt open. Okay. Ladies, have at it. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. Let's get to the topic because we'll be here all day.
What's going on in that cup right there?
Yeah, we'll be here all day. Now this is fresh water.
Is that clear water or clear?
This is 6 triple filtered. My wife makes me have a fancy water machine at the office, so it's triple filtered 6 times, reverse osmosis.
Okay.
Carbon filtered, BHPA, BPD, OOG, Snoop, OOG. It's cleared. Okay, so position for growth. Obviously is the book, and then within that we talk about the 5 pillars as we've been talking about multiple episodes. So again, simple put, I believe every business growth challenge happens within one of the 5 pillars: mindset, sales, marketing, operations, or people.
Yes.
Of course, I think it's an easy guess that beginning of the year, 2025, Happy New Year, we're going to talk about mindset.
Awesome.
So, but I wanted to have a little twist on how we did it.
Sure.
Because you and I both know what happens in New Year's. We start talking about things like resolutions. We start talking about, our goals.
Right.
So I want to talk, I'm going to throw out a bunch of different things that kind of has more of a, not anti, but I'm saying let's forget resolutions.
Okay.
Let's get maybe more specific And let's not worry about, I mean, goal setting is important. I mean, it's
Right.
foundational. Brian Tracy, all those guys out there
Right.
talk about that. But I want to just kind of put little twists.
Create something a little bit more sustainable to
Yeah,
get you
yeah.
througght the entire year instead of throughout the month
Yeah,
of
just some
January.
little twists. And I want to go, let's see what we get to. But like,
Okay.
we're going to talk about goal setting, but maybe reframing that a little bit.
Right.
We're going to talk a little about technology.
Okay.
We're going to talk a little bit about like mindset, some
Right.
tips for mindset,
Sure.
how to stay committed.
Yeah.
Is this a part 2? Is this
That-
the rare?
Well, you know, at the beginning of the year, it'd be a great opportunity to have 2 episodes on mindset that continue to support each other.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think this is going to set up for a 2-parter, Willie H.
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot to get to. So,
Yeah.
so here we go. So consider this part 1.
Yep.
We're back in the saddle.
There
All
you
right.
go.
So let's jump in. So everyone has the big talk about goal setting.
Okay.
So let's get into talking about like reframing. I want to think about like how we reframe that
Okay.
and kind of really how we approach that piece. So the first one I have here is focus on systems, not goals.
Okay.
So explain, look at the idea that creating habits and systems are more effective than just having a goal.
Think about it in terms of building a roadmap. Think about it in terms of, what are the things that you're going to do that get you closer to that goal.
Right.
100%. Yeah. That's because that's important. You can have a goal is the place that you want to go. A system is the way you're going to get there.
Yes. So, yeah. So, because what people I think will do is generically they'll go, I want to start doing, 15 sales a month.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Right. That's great.
Right. And they write that down.
Right.
And then they think if they put it under their pillow. Right. Versus saying, well, here's the pathway to do that. Right.
Right.
So, I want to talk to more people. Okay, great. Well, what does that look like? So
Right.
I'll talk about the 25-5 method, which is
Okay.
25 pieces of outreach a day is
Okay.
125 a week.
Right. Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you end up in a situation where you have a method to
Correct.
reach 500. Now, how you get to that 25? Well, are you a morning prospector? Are you an
Right.
afternoon prospector? Are you evening? I'm learning doing prospecting before office hours.
Okay.
Not phone, obviously. We're talking, you're really kind of email or the setup, right, to
Right.
things. I'm finding it's an interesting experiment for me
Okay.
because, like, literally once I hit the door, things that aren't on the calendar still take attention.
Okay.
And you get through the day and you're like, you know what? I didn't go after my numbers.
Right.
So that to me is just like a simple example because people will definitely have their generic goals.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I want to lose 50 pounds.
Right. Okay.
Well, how long?
Right.
30 days. Right? So
Right.
but I want to lose 50 pounds. Okay,
Right.
great. So what does that look like? Oh, wow, 5 months. I want to lose 10 pounds a month. Okay, great. What does that look like? So what do you have to do that?
Right. What do you have to do each day? to
Yeah.
get
So
that
I think
concept?
the idea of goal setting or resolutions are holistic,
Right.
but holistic versus realistic in terms of that, because that's why
Okay.
we break it, right?
Yeah, and I think too, what we think about goals is when we write a goal down, whether consciously or subconsciously, we think about it like a light switch. We think it's either on or off, right? We're either going to get it or we're not.
Right.
And so the way to get it is to develop a system or a process to make progress towards it.
Right.
So every time, and that's a thing that over the last few years, I've really developed this mindset of progress.
Okay.
What am I doing to get closer
Yep.
to the things that I've said I want to accomplish? What am I doing? That doesn't mean I'm going to make the same amount of progress every day.
Right.
But if these are the goals that I've identified for myself, if these are the things I want to accomplish, I look at in my daily, every morning when I do I call it set my intent for the day.
Right.
Every morning I sit down for about 10 minutes and I set my intent for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things, one of my 3 pillars is make progress.
Right.
And so, okay, what am I making progress towards, right? And those are the things that I think is what you're talking about, is how do we create an environment
Yes.
where we get closer to that goal, realizing that goal is not an on-off switch.
That's right. I like it. Next up is the anti-resolution approach.
Okay.
So the idea here simply being avoiding traditional resolutions, but replacing that with micro changes
Okay.
throughout the year.
Okay.
I mean, almost how we think about, right? What's the best way to eat an elephant?
Right.
One bite at a time, right?
Right.
So this idea of micro, we've talked about this too with micro goals and micro,
Correct.
but I think that is part of the thing. Like, people ask too much. It is amazing to me the amount of people, and I'm not saying I've never been guilty of this, but
Right.
awareness is the first step, right?
Correct.
The amount of people who underestimate or make unrealistic thoughts about timelines
Oh, okay.
on when things should happen.
Right.
And I mean, it's kind of like even talking about podcasts, right? Historically, over 100 episodes is where most people find their traction.
Okay.
And that's based on the fact that the average podcaster doesn't get past 10.
Correct.
And then you've kind of just got, right, you're finding your audience, you're this, you're
Right.
that, how you market it, all these things are happening. But kind
Right.
of there's a sweet spot that's been developed. They used to have that same idea with blogs. When
Right.
blog was catching popularity, it was, I can't remember the number, but it was like, you need to crank out, it's like 150 blogs. And then that's where you could start to track,
Correct.
spikes or trends, SEO, like that kind of thing. And it's just amazing to me, particularly from a business perspective. Like, even when I look back, I look at, different business lines and go, this one didn't move like I thought it was going to move. This one there was more challenges in this particular area.
Right.
And then you go, well, what was the timeline?
Right.
Oh, 12 months,
Right.
9 months, 15 months. Okay, well, Cory, what did you expect was going to happen? Not what you wished
Right.
or you were optimistic about
Right.
or what you set your intention for or
Right.
what you watched The Secret and thought you were going to vibrate
Right.
whatever to your
Sure.
life, but what was realistic?
Right.
And I think it's go ahead.
Well, not to
No, yeah, go ahead.
Here's what I've found in my own life, and I can speak through the lens that I've lived. Everything takes longer than I planned for it to.
Sure.
And what happens is we underestimate the amount of momentum it takes to get something going.
Yes.
And then once it gets going, we can
could be
pick
one
up
phone call.
speed. Right. But the amount of energy it takes to get something going, to get that momentum going. And then if you stick with it, so why you see spikes after 100 episodes or 150 blogs is because you've got that momentum. You've got stuff out there. You keep doing it.
Yeah.
And it's that concept of M.I. Lynn talks about compound pounding, right? You pound the rock on the outside and it cracks from the inside out. So you don't see it.
Right.
So you're doing it and you're doing it. If you quit, you'll never see it.
Yeah.
But if you keep going, the reality of it though is this: it's what it goes back to what you said, Cory. Is realistic is whatever realistic is.
Yeah.
What's real is it will take longer than you plan for it to.
Well, I think in this world too, when we talk about like education or personality driven kind of things, it makes me think about like my wife and I. If we don't get to a show. Like, we'll think about a show we want to watch, and then, like, it'll come out, and it'll be a season or two seasons, and we're like, oh, you know what? We're going to go back and watch this.
Right.
If we find out that show's been canceled,
Right.
we don't want to watch the rest of it or any more of it to get invested.
Right.
And so I think when you think about that world, particularly if you're putting out content,
Right.
nothing will exacerbate you or depress you like trying to put out a lot of content.
Right.
Particularly at a scale like this,
Right.
or production value, I should say, and, crawling along the process.
Right.
And then watch some guru tell you that, you need to be putting out 90 pieces of content a day.
Right.
So like, oh my God,
Right.
I got to do more of this and hope and worry. And the algorithm changes every 5 minutes. But, but the micro, right?
Right.
We had something we're looking at doing this project, or we're doing this project, and it was like, all right, we're going to do 30 of them.
Okay.
And then we said, okay, great. let's just see how these 7 go.
Right.
Like, let's get that down.
Right.
And then we want to do 30, but let's get the formula down. That's a micro.
Yes.
Versus, so now the whole stress factor of everybody trying to get 30 of something done completely changed. And I think people just forget that. I mean, this is a time when I'm talking to a lot of different business owners at events or people, setting their intention and what they want to have happen. And it's like the follow-up question, like, oh, Cory, this is it. I'm doing this. I'm starting with this. Okay, great. How long are you giving yourself to make it successful?
Right.
Oh, I'm thinking it should be 69 days to ramp up.
Right.
Now, if you've got something that's hot right now, like catching wildfire, you get, some anomaly happens, right? Oprah loves your book and has you come on the Oprah podcast. Yeah, you're probably safe. Bestseller list, here you come.
Right.
Joe Blow, not so much.
Right.
That's
exactly.
I got on the Nobody show, and now I can't understand why I didn't, blow up. So,
With me, brother, work with me.
I don't even know what that was. He just played.
Yeah, that's good though.
So you like micro? We like micro, right?
We do, and to your point, do this 30 and then the first 7 is set a goal and do a couple of the micro events, do 7 episodes or 7 outreaches. And then we'll say, okay, is this what I thought it would be?
Right.
Do I want to keep doing it? Right. And I have the goal.
Don't be afraid to adjust.
Correct. Right. Because don't do it just for the goal. Keep doing it because it's what you want to do and it's because it has the intended outcome.
Don't be afraid to adjust.
Correct.
If you thought you were going to a destination and you drive down the road, we drove down the road the other day, there was a big accident. The road was blocked.
Right.
What am I do? I didn't give up. But like when you think about it, Willie H is like, but when you think about it like that, it sounds like a no-brainer.
Right.
But when we think about like our goals or our plan, you know how many business owners I meet or entrepreneurs I meet that think they're right so bad, they ignore all the signs of needing to make an adjustment. Right. I didn't say you need to give up. I didn't say you need to fold, but you need to make an adjustment. But they're so blind at like, oh no, this is my vision. I manifested it. It's on my vision board. I told myself this. I'm not making fun of any of that stuff. Right. But I'm saying if you rely on that and you just don't pay attention, it is I'm an amateur on the Bible, but it is the old proverb about the guy, standing on the roof with the water and I'm waiting for Jesus, I'm waiting for God, I'm waiting for God, I'm waiting for God, right? He sent you a boat, a helicopter, you turn it down waiting for God. Right. Like, so sometimes you miss the obvious thing out there, and I say it just because, and I'm trying not to be, I'm telling you, I'm in 20 years, this will be 21 years.
Right.
I'm trying not to be a cynic or become a cynic. I want to be, but I have to be a realistic optimist.
Right.
Like you have to have realistic optimism. That doesn't mean you can't think big.
Right.
That doesn't mean any of that because there's nobody that will get going more than me on the next layer of what an idea can be. Right.
Project. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But you have to have a realistic optimism. So,
well, here's going back to your road analogy.
Like now I'm done. Like, go ahead, talk.
Going back to your road analogy, though, and I talk about this, detours are designed to protect you, right? They're designed to get you around danger. Mm-hmm. There's a reason detour signs are bright orange.
Right.
Because they want you to see them.
Yeah.
And if you don't pay attention to it and you drive right past it, well, that's on you.
Right.
And look, I've driven past detours in business and in life and done some things and realized that, I'm at the bottom of a cliff. Let me see if I can get back up. And I always
tell people, I'm happy to be wrong. I don't have any problem admitting I'm wrong. I don't have that ego issue. So go out and prove me wrong. Right. But what I find so interesting is there's somebody right now, there's somebody you follow, somebody you follow online or whatever, that 7 months ago made everything look great. Right. And then we find out a year later, right, that this was going on, that was going on, or under indictment, or whatever it is. But you went and modeled things that you were doing, based on that.
And then there's the flip side, right? There's the person that shows up and has built a foundation and a structure They're overnight, 20-year overnight success, right? And they end up showing up in your world with all of their systems in place and all the mistakes that they've made behind them. And now they show up and are really dialed in and locked in. You're like, oh, wow, where'd they come from? We're like, where were you 20 years ago when I was playing the honky tonks in South Texas?
Or 20 months ago, right? Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
I mean, so it's, it's both. We talked about before, we live in a highlight world. It looks like it's easy. It looks like what we see should be easy. And this goes back to, bring it back to the micro goals, the micro motions, the micro activities that lead you in the direction that you want to go, and recognizing that along the way, the direction that you want to go isn't always the right way.
Right.
But you may have to get around something to get back on that road.
All of that.
Voice of reason.
That was perfect. That was a perfect setup there.
Thank you.
That was a perfect setup. Now, we did all that time talking about goals, micro goals. How about we throw goals out the window? How about we have another suggestion?
I like it.
Right. The one thing I love is that no one's going to convince me that there's not more than one way to skin a cat.
Right.
Now, what happens is, whatever your theme is, or I shouldn't say theme. Hold on. I said something that early. But whatever your belief system is, yes, I expect if you are in the business of selling people on why webinars are the best marketing tool, that you believe webinars are the best marketing tool.
Correct.
Right? I believe that interviews and media interviews are one of the most powerful ways to tell your story and convey your thought leadership, your expertise to somebody, right? Right?
When the church say amen.
Now, there's somebody out there that believes podcasts are the most prolific way to build your business.
Right.
Looking in the camera one, that remains to be seen, but we're working on it.
Well, unless you do audio and video.
Yeah, sure.
If you're doing both now, that's a different story.
Sure. So obviously, if you're in the goal business and you sell a goal planner,
right?
Me saying throw out goals might not be, the ideal thing for you. However, let me explain. No, hear me out.
Go ahead.
But so alternate. So substitute a list of goals. See how you think about this for a word or theme of your year.
Okay.
I think about this with speaking. One of the things, if I talk to a meeting planner and we're talking about an event, the first thing I will ask, or the first thing they will tell me is our theme for the convention is.
Correct.
Right? Inclusion, intention, demystifying AI, whatever it is. They will have a theme. And then they will make the whole experience that you get over those 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days around that theme.
Right.
Think about what could be a theme for you going into, or not going into, but being in 2025.
Yeah, I love it. And, there's a couple of different ways that people approach it. There's the one word, that one word. What's the word that sustains me throughout the year? What's what is the thing that keeps me going in the right direction? And that's a theme concept.
Right.
You can have a sentence, or you can have, a quote that you use that will get you through the year. And
Willie, you read that. What was that book? The One Word? What was it? The One Word? Yeah.
The One Word Year, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's all of those, and those are all theme related and theme based.
What do you think? I don't know. What do you think I wonder what I want. I'm going to think about that. What I want the theme of the year to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I want it to be.
Yeah. And it does, and look, if you get it down to 3 words.
More money. Well,
right. If you get it down to 2 or 3 words and you can't get it to 1 word, that's fine. But it gives you guidance and gives you direction. The whole point of this conversation is what can you do to set yourself up to keep going?
Yes.
Because if you set the goals and you think it's an on-off switch, you don't.
Well, I will tell you.
Yeah.
I will tell you, since we're talking about it as a personal moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think sharing that, and you got some things to share about speaking and some things too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I have had to make the difficult decision that I have to focus on doing less.
Yeah.
And see what that means. That's not as simple, because what that means is also other people are affected by that.
Correct.
Right. Other opportunities I have to say no to, or other opportunities it is the classic, right? Just because you can help everybody doesn't mean you have to.
Right.
And I think the challenge there, when you're business for 20 years, is variety.
Right.
That's the business, right? It would be like me having a Baskin Robbins for 20 years and then saying, hey, we're just going to be in the milk chocolate business.
Right. Yeah.
Like, tough.
It is tough. It is tough. And you know, there's one piece of it.
Or I can go insane. That's my other option.
Well, or the people, you drive the people around you insane. That's the other option. But the reality of it is.
Willie H., did he make a comment on that? I didn't see his head move. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, LG.
Yeah. The reality of it is that, you know, there's the Western civilization version of you continue to add and continue to add and continue to add. And then there's the Eastern philosophy of you continue to refine and you continue to refine and you whittle away things that don't serve you till you get to that thing that's at your core that you can be great at and the best at.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is, and we had conversations last year on this podcast about what was it that Jim Ziegler said? Don't confuse.
Beware of distractions disguised as opportunities.
Correct. And that's right in line with what we're talking about here is when you, I'm going to say no to more, it allows you to get better at what you say yes to.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. That's just a hard, you and I literally having a conversation an hour ago about something where I was raising my hand to, why don't we help this group? Right. You know, why don't we do that? And then I had to sit with it for a minute, and I'm like, I just can't commit to one more. Like, it's just, crazy.
What's that going to cost me in time, energy, attention?
Right, but you're looking for the opportunity.
Well,
but then you go back through there and you go, we kind of exhausted that pool.
Well, what does that mean for us, right? What does that mean for us on the other side?
Correct.
And what do I have to do to include them? And does it really, like, again, you know, it's a good idea, and we have lots of good ideas. Here's
no shortage of that. No shortage of ideas or opinions.
That's correct. And some of them are good.
Qualifications, shortage of that.
Well, some ideas and some opinions are even good.
Right.
But there's no shortage of all of them.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that I talk about is you have to find two things. And when you're going into the new year, you know, we talk about themes. You have to find two things. You have to find your faith and you have to find your fight. What do you believe in?
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to sustain you when your fight gets hard. And what your fight is, what are you fighting for?
Yeah.
Now, your faith can be in yourself. It can be in a higher power. It can be in a religious person. It could be in a religion. It could be in a certain philosophy. It could be in atheism. It could be whatever that is.
Right.
But what do you believe in? And you have to define that, because that's what's going to keep you going when it gets hard, because your fight, if it matters, is going to get hard. That's why so many people quit their goals. So you talk about themes, right? That's a way to approach your theme.
Let the church say amen.
That was a tee up. Look at Willie H. out of the gate coming strong.
Strong.
Coming strong.
Right.
Yeah, no, but I think that makes a lot of sense. And much of it also corresponds. One drives the other in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
You set unrealistic goals.
Right.
And then you drop them. And then you're depressed that you didn't hit your goals.
Right.
When the goal didn't make sense to begin with.
Right.
And please, I don't need the emails. Oh, Cory, you got to drink. People need to drink big. And there's nobody thinking more than that than me. Right.
Both of us.
I vehemently, I got it, Willie H. I believe that most people lack vision, and people need bigger vision.
Right.
My career, you know, like when I think back, and like this is the time when you're having all these conversations, right? You're having these reflective conversations, and I think back, my whole life, better or worse, has been being a part or trying to introduce things that people didn't get right away.
Right.
Woo. And that is what a tough life. Like, I mean, my life is great. I mean, like, I want to make sure I'm articulating correctly, but like 20 years ago in the auto industry, we were talking about the internet.
Yeah.
Internet leads, people buying cars online. We were talking about collecting email addresses as a means to market to people. Right. You know, then it was texting, or then it was, you know, what, like, it's been even video.
Right.
Like, the amount of people that don't get it.
Right.
This is the ball game.
Right.
and it's black or white, right? You're what people who watch video.
Right.
If you're watching this video and you're a business owner and you're watching this from a video perspective,
Right.
and you don't have video on your website, I don't get it. Like the conversations that I have, and I don't listen. If you didn't invest with us last year and you listened to this, I'm probably talking about you,
Right.
Because the fact that unless you fix the problem, I mean,
Right.
maybe invest with somebody else. I can live with that,
Right.
but don't just not get it.
Right.
One last thought, because I was talking to a business owner today.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody who works for a business,
Okay.
and he's saying, Cory, I think our business, we should probably be. This company should be doing double what it is.
Okay.
But the owners won't invest in any marketing. The owners
Right.
won't do this. I'm tracking inventory on an Excel sheet
Okay.
for our whole, where we work across all 50 states.
It's probably a
I'm tracking
multi-million-dollar
inventory.
business.
We've got a bad, we've got an unupdatable version of QuickBooks that we're doing accounting on. We're not even online.
Right.
So how many businesses out there fall into that category?
Well, let's take a step back. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back. Remember, the concept that we're operating from, the belief system that we're operating in, is that you're either growing or you're dying. So if you want to grow your business, what we're talking about, using video as a marketing tool, allows you to grow your business in a couple of ways. It allows you, and again, this is mindset and goals and growing your business, right? We're talking about how do you grow your business in 2025, or your territory if you're a salesperson, or your team if you're a leader, is when you use video, you give people an opportunity to get to know you before they ever meet you, because they're looking for you, and if they don't find you, they're looking for somebody else. And if they find somebody else with video, they immediately become more associated and connected with that person, because that person has video. The other thing, and this comes from a sales perspective, the other thing that video does for you is if that person decides that you're not the right person for them, you don't have to spend that 45 minutes talking to them for them to figure it out.
I was talking to somebody. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I did a book signing a couple months ago for Position for Growth.
Right.
And there was this guy in line, and so what we were talking about, the context was we were talking about speaking and kind of how you have to strategically have your next steps. Like you speak, people, if you're any good, people want to come up to you and talk to you, and you've got other things. You have to kind of politically know how to move through that thing, because I was talking to this guy that's talking to me, tying up all my time. I've got not buying books, not even buying not even doing a $20 book. Wants to get some free coaching on what's going on with his business, right? While I have people who actually want to buy books, like behind him.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, don't waste my time. Like, I'm just in that. I'm not, and it's funny, salesman the salesman, so to speak.
Right.
It's not a lack of wanting to follow up with people or a lack of wanting to be consultative.
Right.
It's if you're not already of the mind, I can't.
Right.
Right. If you don't in your mind, I just can't spend any time this year on the convince part.
Right.
Meaning you should be doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
It's got to be, for me, I'm going to spend more time. I'm committed to spend more time with people who say that I know I need to do X and I just haven't found the right partner to help me with that. And that's a distinctly different, and I'm sure the marketers and listen, the companies who have infinite dollars, we're small business owners, right? So the guys that got a $20 million budget to do long-term nurture and do repetitive top of mind awareness marketing, right? Sure. The Burger King can show the Whopper on TV 17,000. They can afford to show the Whopper 17,000 times a day. Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just more interested in we've been one. That's the client. One of our last clients is like, I've been wanting to do this. I'm so happy that not all right. You twisted my arm, dude. Don't do this for me.
Well, one of the
It's your business.
Well, 100%. And so there's two things. One,
How many do we get to? Have we even gotten to
we're going to
4 or
definitely
5?
have a second
Okay.
episode. And then we may even make this our January project.
That's right. You're right. You are right.
But, and that's okay too, because it's, we're talking about goals for the year. We're not just talking about goals for January.
We haven't even gotten past. Okay, go ahead.
But here's what I'll say. So I'm going to bring something back around for you. You talked about 5 minutes ago, you talked about in your 20-year career, you are bringing new things to the market that people aren't aware of yet.
Yeah.
So the first year or 2 years of this project,
it's brutal.
It's brutal.
You've got to wait. You've got to wait for people to start to get it.
Well, but you have to convince them. That's what you start with.
Well, true. Yes.
That's the fight that you were fighting.
Yeah.
Now there's enough evidence and enough proof that you don't have to fight that fight anymore.
Right,
What you got to do is you got to find the people that already buy into it. I mean, I remember, in the very beginning, I was at a meeting and before the network was even up and running.
Right.
And I was giving a presentation. I was talking, and the guy that I know came up to me and said, "I want to talk to you because that's on my list, and I need to figure out how we can do this." That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Somebody who it's on your
Yes.
list, and you just need to figure out the best way to do it. And he ended up being one of the early adopters for the network, and those are the people. So the early adopters are done.
Yeah.
Now the people are, well, my competition is doing it. I need to do it to distinguish myself. I want to grow my business, which is what we're talking about.
That's right.
And this is one of the pillars of growing your business is how do you market?
Right.
And how do you get people to know who you are when you're not there?
Right.
Video is a great way to do it.
100%.
This might be a guy I want to work with.
All right, back on the rails and our list.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, it's the same reason why we beat it's the same reason why we beat the drum on brand and marketing, and because, man, it happens every single day.
Right.
People make decisions that you don't know about.
Right.
Someone's hitting the website. Someone's calling your office and no one's answering the phone or calling them back.
Right.
And they're going somewhere else.
Right.
So someone is, they had a bad day, so they take that out on the next prospect or the customer.
Right.
They're looking at your business card and going, crappy business card, crappy business.
Right.
And if you don't think that's happening, you are asleep behind the wheel, Jack. You're in a Tesla with autopilot, hoping you make it to your destination.
Well, and yes to all of that. And in my world, I'm a 3D salesperson. I'm shaking hands with people and talking to them, and I'm in front of them.
Yeah.
And people are still making a decision when I'm not there. They're making the decision to buy and who they're going to buy from when I'm not there. Now, it's all the things that we've done to set up why they should choose us, whether it's online or in person. Most of those decisions are made when you are somewhere else.
Right.
So how can you get them to choose you? And they've got to be thinking about you to choose you.
Right. Now, that's your responsibility.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
To now cultivate a hand raiser.
Right.
We've had deals. I'm in a deal right now where there's boards involved, and it's not, the one signer classic who's the buyer situation. Right. There's boards that have to vote on this and budgets that have to be approved and all those things. But my primary stakeholder, my guy that I've been cultivating is on board. Right. Now we've got to work. So is it closing as fast as I like it? Like, it's a no-brainer to both of us. Right. But now there's process you have to work through. Right. That's different because he got it. You've got some advocacy. Now you're hatching a plan to try to get the people who don't see it to understand it. But even that sometimes, like, can we put together a few slides? No, I can't put together any more slides.
No, I've got a website full of content.
It just isn't that complicated anymore. This is not complicated. At some point, you have to say, I'm going to have to at least try it. And we've all tried something. Right. Something in a restaurant. You know how irritated I've been taking a run at something new, and I just kick myself and say, why did I deviate? I mean, I was at the grocery store. We wanted to add some Italian sausage to our pasta, and I ran out and I went to get the regular mild sausage that I normally get, and I'm walking through the aisle and I stop and see a sale on sweet Italian sausage. Right. And I said, you know what? This doesn't look exactly the same, but you know what? Let me give it a whirl. Right. Patooey. Could anybody still say that? Patooey? I got home, I cooked that sausage, I sliced it, I take one piece, and I said, oh, I'm so mad. I should have gone with, why did I? But we all do it. We've all tried something. We've tried a marketing idea. We've tried a concept. We've tried something new. Sometimes it works out. I eat cheesecake now. I didn't eat cheesecake for 40 years. I thought cheesecake was disgusting. Now I like a cheesecake now and again. Right? I don't know. Okay, we're going
well off the rails, and we're going.
But we are and we aren't.
Correct.
Because this is still about, because as you set your intention, as you start to think about these things, what are these things that you're ignoring? You can't just ignore it.
Right.
Or if you do, you can't complain. Don't tell me that you're upset that your business isn't growing and your website sucks.
Right.
And you're not doing anything modern to do it. You're penny pinching on marketing or whatever it is.
Right.
Don't tell me about that. You won't make a phone call. You won't ask for the sale.
Right.
You don't have any upsells that could be beneficial. Not crap, but upsells that could be beneficial.
Right.
Don't
ignoring channels you don't understand.
You don't. Willie H just grabbing stuff from everywhere.
All
right. Oh, okay. Next.
It's your list.
All right, I'm going to do a couple more. We're going to get out of here.
We'll do that. Sure. This is good though.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the year, enthusiasm, energy.
Yes,
just like people have when they have their goals.
Get that fresh rant out.
There you go. Right.
But it's there's this guy I follow online, Eddie Abreu or something.
Okay.
Willie H, you know him? It's fitness. He's a carnivore guy.
Okay.
So former championship bodybuilder.
All right.
And his line is "Wake the F up." But he says it.
Right.
Like that's how he goes on his rants. You think bananas are good? Bananas spike your blood sugar and will kill you. Wake the F up. Like that's his mantra. Right. So it's like that's what we got. Some people need a shock to the system because here's what's going to happen. Every year, as part of the New Year's resolution, people are going to go and start businesses. The SBA is going to see a spike in registrations of new businesses. Yes. We all know the tragic statistics about who makes it and who doesn't and whatever. Somebody's out there's got all the optimism in the world, got all the belief system in the world, is cutting some corners. They don't think they need to, that guy wanted too much for the website. $5,000 for a website. No way. That's crazy. I could build it I got my brother's cousin's sister can do it for $150.
Right.
They're going to cut some corner there and cut some corner in product or service because somebody told them, just get it out there.
Right.
You get it out there and have a crappy experience with 10, 12 people.
Right.
You think you can just go back and fix it?
Right.
Not unless you got infinite dollars.
Right.
Pepsi makes a product mistake. They'll be all right. Joe, who cashed in his 401k, and has got it all on the line in the build out of his brick and mortar location, for his cheesesteaks, goes with the cheaper bread guy, goes with the choice beef instead of prime, goes with the cheaper mayo instead of the Dukes or the Hellmans, just to get going. His Yelp is done. His Yelp is 1.1, and you think he's going to just be able to fix it?
Right. No. So here's what I'll say about that.
I don't know how this. Okay, yeah, and then I'm going to actually get to one.
Here's what I'll say about that, though. So your website's your brand and your impression. We talked about, at the end of last year, we talked about, updating your brand for 2025 and doing the things so that
I'm going to beat the brakes off of that in 2025
and
because
cohesive and consistent and credible, all of that. Think about your website as a car. You come from the car business.
Yeah.
If your website looks like a beat up Yugo, do you think that somebody...
Willie H and I have been at a Yugo before. One of our teachers had a Yugo.
Yeah, okay.
Foam seating.
Well, but think about it. So somebody drives up. So the website is driving up into their office or their dining room or their living room, wherever they are on their computer. You drive up in a Yugo and your website looks like a Yugo a value, or you drive up in a Mercedes and your website looks like a Mercedes. There's two of them side by side. Who are they picking?
Right.
They're going to go into that Mercedes and they're going to believe in that Mercedes because that look offers confidence and credibility and success. I would sign contracts. There was this was a role I was in a while ago, and we would sign contracts for events.
Right.
And I had a pen. I had 2 pens in my bag. One of them was like a Bic pen that was it wrote very nicely, but it was a Bic pen.
Right.
And it was for associations and clients that would do business with us, but it fit with their theme.
Right.
And then I would sign contracts for events with law firms and with other.
Pulled out the Monty.
I pulled out the Monty.
Right.
Blanchi. So you got, but
Monty Blanchi.
But if I pull out that Bic pen and hand them a Bic pen to a law firm to sign a hundreds of $1,000 event or contract, they'd be like, what?
There's a sales guy that I follow, and he has an interesting. This is going to be another app. Somebody mark that down. We're going to do an episode on this.
Okay.
I'm going to follow up on what you just said, but we're going to do an episode about this.
Yeah.
Because there is this raging debate about dumbing down.
Right.
Right. I know guys show up in the older car when they got a Maserati at home because they don't want the client to think they're making too much money and all these. There's a debate on that. And there's a guy I follow that talks about this from a sales perspective, like being the sales guy. Oh, you know what? I'm leaving the Rolex at home because I don't want the. And he's like, dude, I don't care what people say. Right. People want to buy from success. They want to buy from successful people.
Yes.
Or people that they view as successful.
Yes.
Right? The real estate agent.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, there's nothing wrong with a 2002 Camry.
No.
But if your real estate agent pulls up in that, and then you interview another real estate agent, and I'm not telling you to overextend yourself or get beyond your means or anything like that. I'm just making the point. Right. There's a different belief system.
Correct.
If you're not a recognized name, and I'm in the speaking world. Right. If you and I are going to an event and there's some speakers there, unless it's a recognized name, Mark Zuckerberg can wear whatever he wants. Gary Vee can wear whatever he wants. Right. But Joe Blow coming to the stage sounds like an accomplished guy. We don't know, and he's got a wrinkled champion sweatsuit on. People judge.
They do.
And then following him is the guy in the suit and tie. Right. Whether it's Brioni or not or whatever it is. Who perceptively, oh, well, Cory, you never know nowadays. Sure. I'm still going to hedge.
Right. I'm going to give myself the best opportunity.
Yes, the guy in the beat-up champion sweatsuit could be a gazillionaire. Right. Probably not.
Right.
Probably not, because the math doesn't even support that. Correct. That's another thing we look online. We think everybody's making $1 million. Right. The statistics don't say. The statistics... All right.
Well, this reinforces.
I keep saying I almost cursed.
This reinforces that people buy confidence.
Yeah, sure, of course.
And confidence and a demonstration of success to a certain level.
Yes.
Is confidence.
Yeah.
If you drive up in a Mercedes and you're selling $500,000 homes, people are going to be excited to work with you because you look like
you know what you're doing.
Correct. Right. If you pull up and again, nothing wrong with the 2002 Camry.
Right.
But the people that are making the decision to buy are going to have less confidence in your ability than they are in the person.
Right now, you don't do anything face to face or that kind of thing, then fine. Right. But don't have a 2002 Camry website.
Well, that again, coming all the way back.
Right. Go back to that. Right. Go back to that analogy.
Right. What are we comparing?
So, right. So how do you transfer that? Right.
So the online presence and your website is the physical look of how you show up.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Let me do these last ones. We're running, it's a podcast, so we can do what we want to do, but we want to kind of stay consistent in our on brand.
Well, we've already committed to another episode.
Until we get that level of sponsorship and viewership that we can just, 4 hours? Right. Sure. Right. Willie H.'s got nowhere to be. Loves it.
And you better believe it.
See, that's why you want a full-time producer.
Right.
You're doing that thing where the guy can only make it between 10 and 11.
Right.
I gotta go.
Right.
Willie H is here,
Thank goodness.
About 35 past the hour.
Yeah.
Whenever he strolls in. I think he's on his he's on his strolling. We play Where's Willie H in the morning sometimes. So he says it's traffic. But
okay.
I don't know. I gotta check that Apple tracker I got this car.
The tag in this trunk.
Yeah. Okay, before we get out of here, because this way we'll round it out.
Yeah, let's do it.
And we'll pick up on technology and some other things.
Good.
We're gonna round out like this goals conversation.
Yeah, please.
With a 3-pack. I'm gonna give you a 3-pack.
Okay.
And then we'll just spend a minute or two on it.
Yeah.
So backwards or backward, it's not plural, backward goal setting.
Okay.
The idea of starting with the end result and then work backward to define the steps and milestones. Hold.
Okay.
2, gamifying your goals.
Okay.
Introduce some gamification techniques, such as like earning points or rewards for your progress. And the third thing is, instead of the to-do list, the to-done list.
Oh,
Instead of focusing on what you need to do, keep a list of accomplishments throughout this year to inspire further progress. Because we're so quick to go, I will quickly go, oh my God, here's all the things I have to do, and discount all of the things I've done.
Right. Yep.
Pick any one and we'll get out of here.
Well, so the first one was the work backwards. What was the second one?
Work backwards, gamify your goals, and then the done list instead of just the to-do list.
Right. And so I'm going to leave that to done list on the side, but I'll combine the work backwards and gamify your goals. You know, I like to play golf, and professional golfers start with where they want to end up. They start with how they're going to get the ball in the hole, and then they work backwards, and they pick the numbers and the clubs that will lead to the shot that they need to get closer to the hole. Okay. So instead of looking at a hole from the tee box, they look at a hole from the green and work back so that they know which shots they have to hit to get to the green in the ideal position. Okay. That's the same concept. Start with the goal that you want to accomplish and then work backwards and build your plan from that. Along the way, use gamification to recognize and reward progress. And I think one of the things that I talked about this a little bit earlier, and I'll continue to reinforce it, one of the things that I've really leaned into over the last couple of years is progress. What have I done today to get one step closer or 2 step closer or 3 step closer or what? Maybe even I hit a sweet spot and got a big leap. But every day is progress. The idea of compound pounding. How am I getting closer and closer to where I want to be? And the gamification allows you to recognize and reward that by saying, wow, I hit this milestone. Boom, let me celebrate. You know, that word celebration, which is something I'll give our friend Mary Foley credit for. Shout out to Mary Foley. Shout out to Mary Foley. I had this graphic that I was working on, and she goes, Lon, I love it, but you got to celebrate. You got to sneak celebration in there somewhere. And that was something that I've been working on. How do I recognize success? How do I recognize progress? And so combining those two things, start with where you want to be and work backwards. If you admire somebody that's doing what you want to do, look at where they are and then find out how they got there, you know, and then recognize and reward. Use that gamification, whether it's points, whether it's coins, whether it's milestones, but gamify your progress so that you can celebrate as you get closer, because every time you celebrate, it triggers that reward system in your brain, and it gets you continuing to go in that direction.
Voice of reason.
There you go. I had nothing else to say. We're going to leave it right there, folks. This is part 1. Welcome to 2025. Happy 2025. We want you riding with us. This is just a taste. If you like this, I've got plenty more rants to go on this year. LG has plenty more monotoned responses to my rants. And we're going to have all that for 2025. Willie H is loose as a goose on the buttons over there. And we're going to be coming up with some cool stuff. We might take some questions and might live stream, might stream a few of these. We might do some special, how they do like, oh, this episode's live. Like they'll do a live episode every now and again. Who knows what's going to be in the trick bag for 2025? Send us an email, hello@CoryMosley.com. Send us an email with some ideas. Do not send me an email with your solicitation. Though this is not a guest-driven show. I get all these people in my, that people want to come on as guests. Now listen, if you're gonna be in the Richmond, Virginia area, I don't know, maybe, but otherwise, this is the host, folks. All right. Now listen, we appreciate your listenership. We want you to come back. Thank you for all you did for us on Spotify and Apple and all the places we stream. We're gonna be building on the YouTube base further. We've had some videos that have popped and are starting to pop. So we're looking at all that. We want you here. We're going to continue to deliver, help you grow, because after all, this is the Grow Business Podcast. I'm your host, Cory Mosley. For myself LG007 Lon Graham, and Willie H. We will see you next time. Willie H, take us out. Oh, you put your glasses on at the end.
I tried to close it out.
Strong
right?
finish. Oh, okay, that was good.
I tried to close it out.
That was good. Team player there.
Look, I was worried about was keep banging on the mic with it.
Yeah,
So.
it's that thin face.
Yeah.
Thin and
you
long.
got more hair than I do.
Yeah, is that what it is? It's the hair holding on? I think it's the width. It's a tension effect. That's not a nose. Yeah. This expands.
Right.
Yeah. That's it right there.
Good.
Milk dud versus peanut. You got the peanut head. I've got more than milk dud head. So there you go.
With peanuts.
Welcome to 2025.
Yeah.
More shenanigans.
That's fun though. That's I like the idea of doing a couple. Stacking a couple because
I got a ton more on the list. So
there's no question.
Yeah. So good. Well, at least we know what the next episode will be.
I am fully confident. Right.
Done
The
and
research
done.
is already done.
Yeah, that's right.
That's absolutely right. Fantastic. Awesome. Awesome.
All right,
We'll
we're
start
out.
calling them